Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Legendary Sports Podcast. Oh man, we're doing some week 4 recap here through the afternoon games. And yes, you should know right now, I'm Jared Michelson.
And I'm Antoine Beeks.
So yeah, we're going back to some week 4 recap, and without the Sunday night game, where it's during the Sunday night game right now, or just a little bit before. So we'll talk about that one on Tuesday. But let's recap what's going down. Let's talk about a little bit that's going on in our leagues. How are we doing? Let's vent for a few minutes before we talk about the games.
Man. So if we want to talk about the leagues that we're in together, I was both leagues. I was kind of 0-1 to start off. But man, we've kind of switched it, man. And AJ Brown is like to survive those couple of weeks without AJ Brown, he's come alive, man. He's come alive. Devontae
Yep.
Adams for me has been doing his thing. I don't got a lot of great things to say about my running backs. Like every other week is somebody different, like
Which league?
pulling the weight for me.
Standard or MSP?
Both,
Uh,
both of them. I don't have any running backs that's just like standing out. I mean,
hey,
you know,
I got Josh Jacobs.
I don't want Josh Jacobs,
He
man.
just put up 20
And look,
points today.
and if I made that trade with you today with Zach Moss and Kareem Hunt, I would be a loser today. I would be a big loser because Terry McLaurin put up 22 points for me today,
Hey, nice.
and Zach Moss
From
and
9.
yeah, and Kareem Hunt didn't do jack.
Yeah.
So
But nobody on the Cleveland Browns did jack. So, in fairness,
that wouldn't be. Hey, listen, I got a really good friend that told me it's about fantasy points. I don't care about what the team did. I don't
yeah,
care about the team's success. It's about that one individual you have on that team.
that's right. It is. It's just about how they put up points. That's all that matters is how they put up points.
So
So,
talk to me. How you feel? How you feeling? How you looking, man?
I'm up 40 points in the league, but he still has Mahomes and he still has Brees Hall. So, there's a chance. I do have Waller left in that league. So, there's 2 points for me. So,
2
so I might
points.
be,
That's
able
all
to
he's been
survive.
giving you is what?
Well, he got me 3, 7, and 2. So yeah, so maybe an average of 3.5 points. I don't know what that comes out to be, but not very good. 4 points or whatever.
Man, so
So
I've been kind of uh I snuck Evan Ingram maybe a little bit earlier than I should have in all of my leagues so that I could have a good backup tight end. And everyone's been knocking on my door about Evan Ingram.
mm,
Everyone. Because he's a top 5 tight end right now. I mean the
easily,
tight end, what'd you say?
easily.
The tight end league is not great. It hasn't been great for years. You got like the top 5 guys, and then there's no one else after that.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And even those top 5 guys, like Mark Andrews, it's been taking him so long to come on. He
First
came
good
on
game.
today.
Yep.
He came on today, but it's week 4. You
Mhm.
know, like
And,
so.
and I don't even think Kittle showed up today, did he?
Kittle no show. T.J. Hawkinson no show today.
No, I didn't think they were of much value this week. So,
But
um,
we'll get into all of that, man.
yep.
Seeing that I just left off with TJ Hawkinson, let's go to your lovely, beautiful Minnesota Vikings and those Carolina Panthers, which was a toilet bowl game, which lived up to the hype of a toilet bowl game.
Mm-hmm.
And the Minnesota Vikings came out on top 21-13, but it
Wasn't
was
pretty.
awful. It
Yeah.
was awful. It was awful to watch. It was awful to see.
Yep.
Kirk Cousins was 12 for 19. Thanks. Got him in a fantasy league. And if they
I
lose, I would have put this one on him.
I thought I was gonna win a league because he got 12 for 19, but now I'll talk about the other 2 players later. But all I have to say is who was it? There was 2 people that Nico Collins and Stefan Diggs. That's all I gotta say right now. But I agree with you. Like I thought Kirk Cousins was going to should have cooked this one, did not cook at all. I don't know what happened. Still threw 2 touchdowns, but 2 picks, and what was an absolute nightmare for the Vikings offense for whatever reason. The only person you can ever rely on consistently, even during the downtime. This is where I say, all I need you is to get me the points. Justin Jefferson here's a perfect example of that. It wasn't a great game by Kirk, but you don't need it to be as long as Justin Jefferson's getting you the points. 6 for 85 and 2 touchdowns. So Mr. Consistent, still consistent at least.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, Alexander Madison played pretty decent today for the
17
first
for
time.
95. Yeah.
He played pretty decent for the first time in my humble opinion.
For
But there
sure.
wasn't much to write off in this game. I mean, Bryce Young threw the ball 32 times, which is right on track with him. He's been throwing
Yeah.
it 30 plus
And,
times a
and,
game,
and you,
but
and,
he only had 204 yards.
yeah, true. And then even with Bryce Young out there, I think Thielen is at least a 10 to 11 point floor PPR option. So PPR though, 7 for 76. So you might be able to use him in sparingly if you need him. So somebody there that is going to be a consistent outlet for Bryce Young during his developing time. So one thing to look positive for the Panthers anyway, but otherwise,
Well, something else to keep you guys' eye out on is that Chuba Hubbard and Miles Sanders split carries
dude.
pretty evenly in the backfield.
Mm-hmm.
14 for Chuba Hubbard, 13 for Miles Sanders. But
But
after that, there is nothing to
yeah,
write home about at
exactly.
all.
Both of them were overall trash, but Chuba Hubbard was a little bit less trash. So, because both their longest run was 7 and 6 yards, so it wasn't a very good week. It wasn't a very good week for either of them. Oh,
Trash.
yeah. Oh my goodness. Heaping hot garbage. So we're gonna move into I'm gonna just jump back into the Atlanta game from earlier because it started earlier. I'm gonna get to start
Early
one
morning.
out. It wasn't a great look overall. We know I had said start. I'll start with the Falcons here. Kyle Pitts, that did not work out at all. I picked the wrong tight end because Jonnu Smith went ham. Did not see that coming. 6 for 95. Don't know where he came out of. So I was right on the tight end position, just the wrong tight end. So
You started Pitts, huh?
I did. I have to. I don't have anybody else. There's nobody else I have. So
Uh,
I didn't draft a second tight end option. So woe's on me right now.
well, Jonnu Smith is still out there.
Clearly, that's the guy. I got the wrong
Jonnu Smith, you better go get the handcuff, man.
Oh man, I know. Gotta go get him. But Drake London did get a touchdown, 3 for 28 and a touchdown. So he got you 11 and a half, 12 points, whatever it is, or in a PPR league. So you survived with him. You didn't die. So he wasn't the
and here you are, right? You said start this guy.
Didn't kill you.
I
though.
wasn't. He didn't kill you, but he didn't do anything great. The touchdown saved him.
Yeah,
The touchdown saved him. The touchdown saved him. But
sure.
Desmond Ritter just stunk it up, man.
Yeah.
This whole Atlanta Falcons offense,
except for Bijan, exactly.
Except for Bijan Robinson,
yeah,
is just awful.
Bijan,
but I told you guys that Tyler Algier is starting to look like his work is starting to get cut in half, and we'll see. But
yeah, this is bad game script for this one though, because they were really out of sync early. And even though Jacksonville slowed down in this game, Atlanta never capitalized on any of the opportunities that came through. Like they had opportunities to do something, especially in the second half. And Desmond Ritter would either let something go through a pick or be a sack and a critical play. It'd be something terrible. So
yeah, but even speaking of that, right? Without the pick six that Jacksonville has, this game is 14-7 pretty much.
Yeah, it's not exciting. It's not live. But Bijan 14-105 on the ground, with 532 in the air. So, that's good, man. I'll take that for that. And I guess they'll just have to bank on garbage time opportunities. That's what you have to bank on with the Falcons. Going over to the Jacksonville side. Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to switch over to the Jacksonville side and just say that it wasn't anything special on this side either. 23 for 30 for 207 yards and 1 TD by Trevor Lawrence. We all thought that, and we argued about this a little bit about guys taking that next step where Trevor Lawrence was and stuff like that. He's starting to show. I don't remember exactly what we both said, but I will tell you this: you were on the side of him having 3,000-yard guys. You thought that he was going to be able to do that. You thought he was going to be able to elevate this team.
No,
And
two
right
thousand
now,
yard
they're
guys, and then what's his face for like 800 or not 800, like 600 or something like that for the tight end.
well, it's not looking like that at all. Calvin really is looking like a shell of what he started. Only 2 targets. I mean, he caught both passes that he was thrown,
And a
but
touchdown.
this is supposed to be your number one guy, and he's only getting 2 targets a game.
Yeah,
I'm
and a
just
number
not
one.
liking what I'm seeing.
Yeah, I'm not either. Not with the number one overall pick 2 years ago. Like that guy who should be a franchise savior. No, we're not getting that right now. So, Christian Kirk though is startable in leagues. He's been a wide receiver 3 or better actually. 8 for 84. So you can hang your head on that. That his security blanket from last year is still that. So, and you can start ETN. There's a little bit of resistance depending on matchup, but you're still going to start him because he got 20 attempts. They were all trash attempts. He was running into a brick wall, but 20 attempts that's the type of running back you want. So you want somebody getting that type of volume. So there'll be better matchups. Now, I'm not saying they're going to be great to your point because they got to figure out whatever, but it'll be better than this. So it's got to be because this is terrible.
Trash.
Yeah, this is
And
not.
if you want to speak more on trash, we're gonna speak about the Cincinnati Bengals, man.
Yeah, this is a disappointment.
Trash.
Another disappointment.
For a team that was left the Super Bowl a couple years ago, and to be pretty much the same team, it's just looking really awful for these guys. T. Higgins, man, is just not been T.
And
Higgins
hurt now. It was like a hip injury or something like that. So he left the game.
and hurt now, right? So, which means guys look out for Tyler Boyd. But not Joe Mixon, but Joe Burrow is just,
Both
I
Joes
don't
are
know.
terrible.
I wanted to say he was hurt, but at this point, I think that it's beyond him being hurt.
Well, I still wonder if Joe Burrow is a I wonder if it's one of those things where you know how NFL likes to push their athletes out there, the marketable people, even though they may still have lingering soft tissue issue. They're just like, hey, we need you to go and generate us money. So we need you to play. We're just gonna give you a bunch of pain meds and you go deal with it.
I'm not liking what I'm seeing from this at all. I won't even shout out any stats on this, man. 3 points, there's nothing to, I mean,
Are you just talking about the Bengals side? Because we got some good stats on the
yeah, I was just talking about the Bengals. You go ahead and you have that.
I
The
will
Tennessee
because
Titans.
because you too, but Derrick Henry hurt my feelings this week. He's
Me
one for
too.
one
Yeah.
throwing a 2-yard touchdown. He's 22 attempts, 122 yards, and a touchdown. And he also caught one pass just to add on top of it because he felt like doing a little bit of everything. So yeah. Derrick Henry
And
got hurt this
Tannehill,
week.
what about Tannehill?
Uh, I mean, he survived 18 25, 240 and a touchdown. Did a little bit on the ground, 6 for 11, but you know, yeah.
Yeah, I mean Tannehill was Tannehill. He managed the game pretty well. Um, and he did enough to get them a win. Derrick Henry turned back into vintage Derrick Henry, though.
Yeah, he did.
He turned back into vintage Derrick
Question
Henry.
for you on this game. With the Titans team, is there anybody from the Titans team that you feel comfortable starting consistently after this? I mean, I don't know if I can call the Bengals a competitive team at this point. So I don't know how I feel about saying that these guys stepped up against a good matchup and that gives you confidence in them versus they played a terrible 2023 Bengals team. And
I mean, if there's anything that I'm gonna say is that I still believe that Derrick Henry is past the Derrick Henry that we've of old, right? Like he's not gonna be that guy that's just going out getting us crazy fantasy numbers as
and
he
not
once
30
did in
rush
the
attempts a
past.
game or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, he's not that guy anymore. But I will say, DeAndre Hopkins, man, like I've started him. I have him in our standard league. And I think I have him in our
MSP
big
league.
money league.
Yep. Yep.
I think I have him in both. And he's been very serviceable. I mean, he's not like killing the game, but he's
Four
not
for
like hurting
63,
me.
10 points, not the worst.
Yeah, he's not killing me, but he's not like making it. He's not the hop of old either. So,
Yep.
I mean, if there's two guys that I would start, it's going to be DeAndre Hopkins. He's going to get some targets. If he can stay healthy, he'll get you about 10 points. And Derrick Henry. They don't have another running back. I mean, they're going to run the ball with Derrick Henry. And
Yep.
if they just get some lucky breaks, a pick or, a big play that breaks something open for them,
Yep.
Derrick Henry is always going to be one of those guys that's able to finish the deal. So
For sure. Oh man. I'm gonna switch over here. Hold on one
but
second. I'll fix my game list on the side here. Oh
I
right.
was going from trash to not so trash, but
I
a
mean,
little bit of trash.
yeah, exact. It depends on which game we want to go to. We can talk about some more trash. Tampa Bay and New Orleans. Let's go over there for a second.
Trash.
Yeah, Derek Carr, 23-37. I'm gonna start with the Saints. 33 of 37 for 127. Nothing coming out of that. Holy cow. Like the Tampa Bay Bucks defense is good, but Carr should be better than this at this point in time.
Well, he's hurt. Remember, he got that hurt shoulder on his throwing
Yeah,
arm.
maybe we'll blame that. Maybe because there was a lot of dump downs today to Alvin Kamara, who had 13 targets on his way back. 11 excuse me, yeah, right? It was a 13 target,
14 targets, 13
14
receptions,
targets, 13 receptions. Like,
11 carries.
yes, like that's crazy. 13. I mean, he did nothing with those because they're all dump offs. 13 for 33, but that's 13 fantasy points in the PPR league straight up. What with that? Crazy.
Welcome back,
Yeah.
AK-47.
So they want to get him involved. It was even quoted by some of the reporters that they want Alvin Kamara was going to get a workload this week, and it's probably going to be this week and here on after because all the other running backs are nobodies. So so if you got Kamara, good for you. Good.
Yeah,
For
as
you.
long as he can stay healthy.
Yep. But he's
As long as he can stay
yep.
healthy.
Yeah, he
Um,
does. Yep.
I was disappointed in Derek Carr. I'll just leave it at that. On the other side, though, Baker Mayfield, 25 and 32, got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to 3-1, and he did this without Mike Evans.
Yep.
Mike Evans got hurt earlier in that game. He left with 3 receptions for 40 yards.
Yep.
I mean, but he just shared the ball
I
around
tried
to
to
a couple
trade for
different other guys.
Godwin, and no, the person wouldn't trade me. Now, smart move on them. Got hurt, wouldn't do it, and now Chris
Yeah,
eight for
Chris got
114. 8 for
yeah.
114.
But I mean, if you're looking for a tight end, Cade Otton, he had a TD today.
That's true. Yep.
I think this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team is only going to get better as well. I think they're only going to get better.
Well, they play the NFC South, which is a trash division. I mean, if they get the chance to play Atlanta twice or like the Saints twice or any of these guys or Carolina, there's nothing that's stopping them from being the division leaders. They're the only one with a quarterback that's willing to take any chance. Like Carr's a vet, but he doesn't play with any risk.
Yeah, that's true. It's so true.
Yep.
It's so true.
Well, let's go to another game over here. And this one was actually I'm going to switch it up and ramp up some barn burner activity here. Washington, Philadelphia.
Man,
this game was a game that I
Washington-
did not expect to be high scoring from one side.
Washington came out with some stuff, man. I was pretty impressed with Sam Howell today. 29 of 41 is not a great percentage, right? He threw for 290 yards, but he made plays when plays were supposed to be made, man.
With the second on the clock.
And he finally found Terry McLaurin, man. He finally found Terry McLaurin. And I was very pleased with him finding Terry McLaurin. The ball was spread out a lot, man. I mean, you got 8 receptions, 7 receptions, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2.
Just
like he threw the ball all over the place.
Yep.
And he did what he was supposed to do to keep them into the game. I wouldn't have started him as a quarterback. So I mean, his numbers 29 for 290. I mean, is just whatever. Yeah, one touchdown,
10 yards per
but the
attempt, though. That's not bad. 10
not
yards
bad
per
at
attempt.
all.
Yeah.
But the rest of the stuff are kind of just like middle of the road. I didn't start Brian Robinson. I was afraid of what would happen with this Eagles front defense. I thought the Eagles were going to be a lot better than what they showed up
He's
to be
just
today
so
defensively.
involved.
Hmm?
Brian Robinson's just so involved, though. I mean, it wasn't a great outing, and I think you were right not to start. I think you're 100% right, but he's so involved. He always finds a way to get into the end zone.
Yeah, and that's what saved him today. Is that touchdown? But on the flip side for the Eagles, man, they struggled a little bit early, but they came on late.
Yeah, I agree with you. Jalen Hurts found his way 25 of 37, 319, two scores. One of those score or both of those scores, excuse me, going to AJ Brown, who was 9 receptions, 175, and two touchdowns, a big dog status. And even still getting Devontae Smith involved, 7 for 78. So in PPR leagues, if you had them, you weren't upset, but they did struggle. They wasn't good right away, but they were lucky to be playing a team that isn't good. You know what I'm saying? So quote wasn't good. But
Mm,
so it was good to see them find some of their footing and everything like that. And getting the ground game going has been great too. Having Swift be able to turn out 56 yards for a touchdown, him getting to work. If you picked up Swift late, like good for you guys. Like
Man,
he's getting
Swift
it. He's
is
getting
out here, man. I
points.
thought it was going to be a lot of Kenneth Gainwell.
Yep.
It's DeAndre Swift's job to lose, man. I
Yeah.
mean, I feel like he's gonna have to like put it on the floor once or twice or something like that,
Yeah.
and
If he
see
stays
what
healthy,
happens
though,
from
this
there.
is the Swift that Detroit was hoping to see. I think he's got something just to prove to himself, like I am him. You know what I'm saying? Like because he's doing it. So
Hey, it also depends on your situations and stuff like that. So, I mean, the biggest takeaway from this game for me is AJ Brown because I got him in both our leagues. I survived. I was surviving with him, only not doing just a bare minimum. I won a couple games with him doing a bare minimum, but
yep,
this right here is gonna put me over the top if he could keep doing this. This is what that number one first round, not number one overall pick, but this is what that first round draft pick was all about. This is what we thought we would get from AJ
yep.
Brown, 9 for 175. And although I'm a AJ Brown owner and I like it, I'm sure the rest of the world would like to see Devontae Smith get 9 for 125, and that brings
His time will come.
AJ
Yeah,
Brown down a little bit, right?
his
But
time will come.
I think they'll find it. I think they'll find a wave of
I'm
both
I'm
of them.
I'm just laughing. I was watching just a clip of the Sunday night intro stuff, and it just showed Travis Kelce looking up at Taylor Swift, like while he's talking to Andy Reid, just looking for her.
Yeah, cheesy,
It's
right?
a PR stunt. So I have something to go back to. We talked about the Browns, right? We talked about that
Uh,
game, or have we not talked
no,
about that game?
no, we haven't talked
All
about
right, we're
that one
switching to
yet.
the Browns. I want to get this ugly game out of here. Good for Lamar's side of things. I mean, efficient, not a lot of volume, but 15 for 19, 186, and two touchdowns in the air, and then 9 for 27 yards and two touchdowns on the ground. You got what you needed out of Lamar. It wasn't pretty by any means. It wasn't ugly. Like he was efficient, but it just wasn't like a high padded stat game. But you got what you needed as far as the tutties. So and that's what we're looking for, right? So and then those
I would like to see him do more, especially in a game like this where they're just like they
I
have
just
total
don't think this is one
control.
where they had to though. There's sometimes where they don't have to. They play conservative so they don't get people hurt.
Yeah, but I mean, Lamar has not had a great passing season, and they're lucky to be 3-1 at this point, right?
No, he hasn't
I
been
would
overall
just
efficient. Today was efficient though. Today was like remember when Tannehill was going to the playoffs a lot and he was very efficient. This is one of those games. You know, like I'm just here to
but
play
that's
quarterback, not fantasy.
but that's not what we like. That's not what we
Fantasy
want to see
wise.
from Lamar Jackson.
Not from a fantasy standpoint. I'm okay with this from a game standpoint if he's efficient, but I don't want this for my fantasy life.
Hey, I have nothing to say about the Browns. I don't have anything to say about the
Mark
Browns.
Andrews came alive. Is what all I gotta say is Mark Andrews 5 for 80 and two touchdowns. This is the Mark Andrews that the world should be seeing.
This is
So
the Mark Andrews that I wanted to see. This is the
yep.
one where I argued about Travis Kelce not being the best tight end in the league. Mark Andrews.
Yes, this is that
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
This is the one. This is
yeah.
the one
When
trying
he's
to save his argument right now.
when he's doing stuff like this, come on, man, give him some credit,
Yeah,
man. Give
trying
him
to
some
save the
credit.
argument. That's funny. I'm gonna switch over to one that you. Let's talk about this bet real quick here, huh? Let's talk about this bet real quick. I said on the podcast, oh, Justin Fields is gonna be a start. This is one where he can get right and cook because Denver is terrible. They just let someone put up 70 on them. Well, they also let Fields put up 4 tutties on him. So say what? Are you for this week only? Fields an apology. I want to hear that shit out loud. This week only, you owe Fields an apology.
No, I would not
Yeah,
give him
you
an
do.
apology.
You
He's
owe
finally
him an
doing his
apology.
job. He's finally doing his job. Tell him to do something else for once.
You owe him an
Tell him to do his
apology.
job more than once.
Yeah.
I'll give you an apology because you said start him and you started him, and I was just giving you the eye roll and I was giving you the cold shoulder on it.
For-
So I'll give you an apology. You were actually right. I'm sorry, but Justin Fields still stinks. I
I
stand
accept
on
this
it.
apology on behalf of you, Fields. Don't worry, man.
He stinks. He did a good thing today, though.
Yeah, he cooked against a bad defense, which hopefully it's one of those games where, again, I don't know what the future's going to hold, but hopefully it's one of those games. It's like, all right, I can play NFL football. Let me do this. So we'll see. I have a big thing for Fields as far as characterly because I watched the Elite 11 with him and Justin Lawrence or Trevor Lawrence. So whole history there. That's why. So
Well, man, I mean, with him playing that game that the way that he did, man, I mean, there are some big money fantasy people out here.
yep.
Khalil Herbert with 18 carries, they were able to run the ball today because they
Yes,
wasn't
it
playing
helped.
from behind. He
Yep.
had 18 carries for 103 yards. I
Yep.
mean, DJ Moore was out there, man. 8 receptions for
Yep.
131 yards, 1 TD. Cole Kmet finally got into the mix.
Yep.
And I was looking for Cole Kmet to have a big year this year from the tight ends perspective. I mean, like I said, it's pretty shallow for tight ends.
It is.
And last year, the way that the Bears was kind of finishing the season, Justin Fields looked a little bit better, and I thought he was gonna be better.
Yep. Cole Kmet's
And
always been
Cole
talked
Kmet
about.
was strong with that.
Yeah, Cole Kmet's
So
always been
he had
talked about
7
being
for
a
85
guy.
and 2 TDs today. What was
Yeah.
that?
I was gonna say Cole Kmet's always been talked about as being a guy for the team, right? He's always been talked about as being somebody who could be a good tight end, like not quite George Kittle, but a tier below that. So like that could be solid if Fields could be consistent. So, but we'll see what the future holds. But he got a lot of people involved this week, so that was pretty cool to see. Even Khalil Herbert, who got a touchdown. Going to the other side of speaking of people who got involved, Russ got everybody involved under the sun. He was looking for Julian, Mims, McLaughlin, Sutton, P. Ryan, Humphrey, Manhurts. I don't even know who that is. Javante before he got hurt. Atkins, Johnson. Like he's looking for anybody to do anything.
Yeah. And what I would tell you with this is Russ is receiving a lot of heat, man. But this Broncos team from top to bottom isn't really good. They're not really good.
Yes.
They're not really good. They came out with the win, but there was nothing on their side that stood out. I mean, Jaleel McLaughlin with 7 carries and 72 yards. That's pretty decent, but who had him starting today, right?
Yeah, well, that's the thing is like, so Javante got hurt this week, right? So the question is that I want to say it was ankle or something like that. I can't remember what it is, but so he left the game. So the question is, are you gutting on free agency for the Jaleel McLaughlin or whatever his name is?
No, not at all. Because I don't think that whoever they play next week, I don't think they're going to be as bad as the Bears. And that's one thing that you have to take into consideration, how bad the Bears defense was. Because check this, the Bears was up like 28-3 or something like that, 28-7 or something at one point. And their defense just is bad.
It is. This isn't a field blame game. This is one of those team games too. Another team that's bad top to bottom, right? So
yep.
As far as that goes.
So moving on some teams that's not bad from top to bottom, that's really good, and it was supposed to be the game of the week, but just kind of stunk it up from the other side's perspective, man. The Miami Dolphins came back to reality, getting a 48-piece burger put on their head, 48-20. And the Bills just went out there and did their thing. You talk about efficient
Yes.
with numbers. Josh Allen was 21 of 25, 320 yards, and
Cooked
4 TDs
against a decent defense, a good defense.
against a decent defense at that. And Stephon Diggs, man, he had his way today.
Yeah, I know. I faced that.
He said, ski 6 for 120 and 3 TDs. Man, oh man. Man,
Gabe
oh
Davis,
man.
give Davis a little love. He showed up for today, so
man, I think Josh Allen has to find Gabe Davis a little bit. I have Gabe Davis on a couple of my fantasy teams. He had 3 for 61 and 1 TD. There's they have to find another guy to go along with Diggs. I think that's where the Buffalo Bills kind of struggle is because Diggs is such a diva that when he's not putting up 6 for 120 and at least 1 TD, he starts to get all mad at Josh Allen, and Josh Allen starts to, you know how Diggs is, man.
force feed.
Yeah, Diggs wants to leave every week that he don't get the ball. You know what I mean? And so it's kind of taken away from a guy like a AJ Brown and a Devontae Smith type of situation for Gabe Davis, because we all thought Gabe Davis was going to come along last year, and it's just been I want to leave from Stephon Diggs, and
every
now
year it's the same thing. It's kind of like we're waiting for Gabe Davis to kind of ascend to the next level, but he doesn't do it. He can't. He's got a blocker in the way.
Yep, but on the flip side of the ball, man, for Miami,
yeah, Tua 25 of 35, 282 touchdown touchdown interception. I mean, like he didn't kill you in points, but he wasn't the Tua that we saw last week, right? Eight attempts. Now this is crazy. 8 attempts for 101 yards and 2 touchdowns. 8 attempts. Now there's always this is a stat I like to point out that it's deceiving because he had a big run on one attempt of 55. So then the other attempts were not that great. A couple of good ones, but you got to make sure you look at those details. It's one of the things about stats that can be deceiving. Is like that looks cool until you look at, most of it came on one carry. You know what I'm saying? So
he had 2 TDs as well.
He did though. Yep, he did have 2 touchdowns, so that was a beautiful thing. And he really outshined Mostert, who had 7 attempts but only 9 yards. Now, again, to all this point, this was a struggle for the entire offense of the. They went from being the kings of the offense to forgetting how to play football. I don't understand where that went. Hill took a dive. Waddle took a dive. Braxton Berrios was the only receiver to actually do anything. And who's starting Braxton? 6 for 40 and a touchdown, but 43 and a touchdown. But I'm not starting him. I'm not using Braxton.
Me neither.
So
not starting Braxton Berrios at all.
Next week should be better for the Bills. That's all I'm saying. They won't, or not Bills, for the Dolphins. They won't be this bad again. So
hey, so you want to talk about some stuff? Let's talk about some reality. And the reality is that Kenny Pickett is trash.
Yeah, not a great day. If you can't get it done against the Texans defense, which, okay, maybe better than we gave credit for, but should be able to see year 2 be able to be more productive than this. No, it's a disaster. I 100% agree. There's nothing to love from this offense except for Najee did one thing, 14 for 71, and that's about it. He had the longest.
Let's go. Hey, no, don't forget his reception. He had 1 reception for 32 yards.
Oh yeah,
put some respect on Najee's name today, man.
Yeah. And a 23-yard run, which is the longest he's had. Still not a 45-yard run. That's one of our bets, but a 23-yard run. So that's the best we're gonna get out of him.
Let's go. Hey, I started him today, and on the flip side of the ball too, I started Dameon Pierce today too. 24 carries for 81 yards. Not nothing to write home for, but he got the value
though on the offense, man. That's crazy. CJ Stroud has figured shit out already.
Yeah, man. 16 for 306, 2 TDs. Man, and he is And you know what? I feel bad for people who have Tank Dell because Tank Dell was not great today at all.
No, but you guys start.
But
You gotta start Dell because Stroud shows that he can get the ball to his people. They just chose to focus on Dell because he's the hot hand, so they took him out of the equation. But that just shows that if both receivers are cooking, you can't take either of them out of the equation because now you got two good weapons on the Nico Collins, who was a pretty high draft pick in himself, and then Tank Dell. So I mean, these guys are going to help Stroud develop, and that's awesome to see. What was Nico Collins here? 7 for 168 and 2 touchdowns.
hey, man, he did it. He did his thing.
Jeez.
He did his thing.
Just cooking. So and we're not just talking low shots. I mean, that one of them was a 52-yard bomb, right? So like they're taking shots downfield to go with that and everything like that. So they're really out here letting him play football, man. They're letting him learn how to play at NFL speed for CJ Stroud. So that's cool.
And he's picking it up pretty fast, man.
Yep.
He's picking it up pretty fast.
I agree.
I like what he's been doing.
I 100% agree. Oh, we're switching to some afternoon game. I think we covered all the morning games, right?
Rams Colts.
Oh yeah. One left. Rams and Colts.
And that was a shootout, man. It went to overtime. Matthew Stafford 27 completions for 319, 1 touchdown and 1 interception. But I tell you one thing, they love Kyren Williams, man. He had 25 carries for 103. But I tell you who they love more.
Who scored?
Puka Nuka.
Yep.
He had 9 for 163 in the TD. This guy has been lighting it up, man.
He's the real deal, man. Holy cow.
As far as stats goes, this guy is like top 5 wide receiver right now in the league.
Yep. And I didn't go for him in any waiver activity, and I regret it.
Me neither. I thought it was a one-hit wonder,
I
man.
did too.
And I thought this guy was going to be like Travis Fulgham.
He's making a whole album right now. We're not able to listen at all. So we're just able to watch.
I'm telling you, he is. Oh man, this dude is special, man.
Yep.
He is
round
special.
pick, I think, too, or something like that. So good for him. Good for him. And then on the other side of the ball here, we have Anthony Richardson, who was not great today. Still had 2 touchdowns. 11 of 25, 202 touchdowns. And then he also got a little bit of work on the ground, 10 for 56 and a touchdown. So he was good for fantasy purposes. Now, this is the thing, is the difference. Like, these stats look terrible for my QB stats, but for fantasy purposes, you could use him and be happy right now. So I got you almost 30 fantasy points, a little over 25 fantasy points. So, like, start Richardson. No matter what, he's a cheat code because he figures out how to get to the end zone. I don't get it. You know, he figures it out. So Zach
everything else around him not that great, but he does figure out how to get into the end zone.
Yep. So with Zach Moss, he still got a lot of work, 18 attempts, 70 yards, but now it's like, what's the future hold? Like there's a mystery there. If Jonathan Taylor ends up leaving,
then we can have a different conversation.
Right. But because he'll get the work, right? He's gonna be the volume guy, 18 or 20 20 touches a game, like no problem. But if he stays, what happens there? That's the
we know the numbers go down.
Yeah,
the numbers have to go down for him, right?
To go down. Yes. So here's something we're gonna do. We're gonna take a quick break here, and then we're gonna get into the afternoon game. So we'll be right back. All right, we are back from the break, and now we're going to go into the afternoon games, and we are going to start with the Las Vegas Raiders and the LA Chargers.
Man, I'll tell you one thing about this Las Vegas Raiders team, man.
Jimmy did not play today.
Jimmy didn't play today, and I think they win if Jimmy plays. If Jimmy plays, I think they win. But
it was this close.
O'Connell didn't do bad, 24, 238, and 1 interception. He just doesn't have any rhythm with these guys, but he dumped it off a lot to Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs, got a lot of work down there, and I love it. He had 8 receptions for 81 yards to go along with his 17 carries for 58.
Yep.
But it just wasn't enough. Devontae Adams got 13 targets, but I think if that's Jimmy Garoppolo, those 13 targets turn into more than 8 for 75.
Yep.
I seen a couple of them that he threw. They were kind of behind. They were kind of low, stuff like that. Just not being in a rhythm with those first team guys.
Yep.
And also
as a rookie, it makes sense. Yep.
And I was just gonna say, and just also as a rookie and just not having those reps, you get a little nervous on the big stage. Yep. So that was another one.
Yep.
But going on to the Chargers side though.
Justin Herbert, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it wasn't highlights. It wasn't a highlight reel like last week, but go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, Justin Herbert, 13 of 24, 167, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. So he not great, but he got a few people involved. Palmer was 3 receptions for 77 yards. Keenan Allen was 3 receptions, 32 yards, and a touchdown. So which is rare to see from Keenan Allen each week, which is cool because he used to not be a touchdown guy. So now he's getting in the end zone. So that's good to see. So not getting the people that everybody involved like you hoped, especially in a matchup like this against the Raiders defense. But hopefully more to come in the future. Hopefully they figure out how to be a consistent offense. Right. The thing is they need to figure out how to be consistent around here. So and if they can do that.
So we talked about quarterbacks, right? And we talked about Trevor Lawrence. We talked about Justin Herbert. We talked about the Joe Burrows and these guys. How are you feeling now 4 weeks into it? And we was talking about how these guys are going to have big years and this and that. And how do you feel about it now?
I don't know what to think about the NFL because I can't tell if offenses are getting sloppier, defenses are getting better, or these people aren't who we thought they were. I don't get it.
I was ready to write a whole new script.
Yeah, because Cincinnati is a whole different team than before in the last season. These guys don't look like a team that's been in the AFC Championship twice. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't get it. I don't understand what this means for the league, so I'm confused.
Dude, I was ready to write a whole new book on like all these old quarterbacks out, all these new quarterbacks in, the Trevor Lawrences, the Joe Burrows, the Justin Herberts, the Tuas, and don't get me wrong, right? Tua's had a pretty good career when he's healthy, but every big game that he faces, he's a no-show, right? Deshaun Watson, where has he been? He kind of had some traction last week, but he got hurt. We got to see him return back to the Deshaun Watson we seen 2 years ago. And it's not like he was hurt. He was just coming out of sitting out a year, but he's been stinking.
Is this a generation thing?
I don't know. I mean, just Jalen Hurts hasn't been, himself either. Like I don't know, man.
Nobody's talking about Tom Brady. Everybody's talking about these young guys. Now the spotlight's even more on them. So,
yeah.
Can they handle it? Can they, that other generation had a different drive, different work ethic, different grit? Not saying that these guys don't, but Tom Brady's was OCD level. Peyton Manning, OCD level. Like, it was different. Patrick Mahomes is probably the only example of, and even he started off rocky, right? So.
And here's another guy that we thought that we was gonna like turn it over, like, oh man, this guy could be so great. And he's just middle of the road, man. Dak Prescott, man. The Dallas Cowboys beat up on the New England Patriots.
Talk about another quarterback from that same draft class or from one of those draft classes that terrible.
I mean, they beat up on them pretty good, but without DaRon Bland, though, right? Like 2 interceptions, 1 return for a TD.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like,
and a fumble return for a touchdown, like crazy.
And like where is it? So they got 2 scores on defense, and Dak is out here 28 for 34, good efficiency, but for only 260 yards and 1 touchdown, it's just like the offense, man. I mean, they let Zeke go. They could have kept Zeke for 11 for 47 from Tony Pollard. So. I don't know. I'm just not feeling the Dallas offense at all. There's nothing for me to write home about.
Especially when the defense is playing so well, they don't have to play well, right? They can just coast. It reminds me of the Denver Broncos when they carried Peyton Manning. That they were not good. but on the offense, they were terrible, but their defense was so good that they carried them through a Super Bowl. That's what it reminds
Yeah,
me of.
but when you got a guy like Dak and you pay him all this money, and you got a guy like CeeDee Lamb, their offense is good. They just ain't doing jack with it.
Jerry Jones doesn't care about money. He just wants to find whoever's going to get them the dub. Jerry Jones will sell all kinds of dollars. He'll go pay criminals if he needs to. He don't care. He don't care. The warden, he's going to pay anybody for the jail cell as long as he gets some dubs. He don't care.
Yeah. That's true.
And there's nothing to
That's
talk
true.
about for the Patriots side. We can move on from them because it's a dumpster fire and you can't trust anybody except maybe Hunter Henry, who is 4 for 51, if you need a desperate tight end. So that's all you need.
Yeah, true.
Now let's close it out here. Arizona, San Fran. My goodness, is San Francisco really real right now? Let me tell you. Coming out here, just kind of cruising through. Brock Purdy, 20 of 21, not a lot of volume, but 283, efficient, and 1 touchdown. So, which is awesome. He got that touchdown out to Christian McCaffrey, who just cooked. I'm gonna start with receptions. 7 for 71 on receptions for Christian McCaffrey. Crazy. Ayuk 6 for 148, but Christian McCaffrey also added 20 attempts on the ground for 106 and 3 more touchdowns. Like, when he's healthy, he is the running back. What are we talking about here?
When he's healthy, he is the guy.
He is the guy.
He's so elite, man. It's so bad how elite he is. And the crazy thing is I passed up on him on a couple leagues because he's so injury prone.
Yeah.
But I think what makes him so injury prone, especially when he was in Carolina, is the load he had to carry. Who else was there with him?
Yeah, he had to
Who else was there with him? They was running screen. They would run screen pass. They would run him out to the flat.
Mm-hmm.
They would run the ball with him. They would run option routes with him.
Yeah.
Here in Cincinnati, or not Cincinnati, but in San Francisco, they mix it up, man. They got the Kittles of the world, who was pretty much a no-show today, which is okay. I mean, but
they have options,
they got
options.
Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, Ray McLeod. They got Kyle Juszczyk. They got guys, and they have quarterbacks that are very serviceable and that could put it on them and put them where they need to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that he's going to stay a lot healthier. I don't see him getting hurt at all this year at all. So,
yeah, I agree. So I have some people to look at for Arizona, though. So it wasn't a great week for Arizona, but it wasn't terrible. Josh Jacobs, 28, 41, 265, and 2. So, he got it out to some people. He has been serviceable, surprisingly.
He has been.
For the receivers. So Marquise Brown and Michael Wilson being the rookie draft pick. These guys could be useful one time Kyler Murray comes back. So even before that, maybe, but you might be able to survive as a wide receiver 3 with Marquise Brown. Wilson could be a 3-4, so bye weeks mostly. But if you need people to fill in because they're going to be playing from behind and they're going to have to throw, another week where they actually were usable. So keep that in mind for now and keep that in mind for when Kyler comes back. So
yep, I'm with you. But there's one thing that we didn't do. We should have started here, which was a Thursday night game.
Yep.
The Detroit Lions played the Green Bay Packers, and Jordan Love was, this game stunk. I tell you one thing, Aaron Jones is not healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He didn't look healthy. He wasn't healthy. AJ Dillon stinks.
Yeah.
He is horrible. It's crazy how great players around you can make you look better because Aaron Rodgers had these guys looking like, woo.
Legend.
But AJ Dillon is not that guy. But I tell you who is that guy, and I know you love him, and I know you traded him away already. Romeo Doubs.
I did. I traded him in that standard league. Yep. He had a good week. That's for sure. 9 points. So Can't be bad, but I got Josh Jacobs out of him, and I was happy that I got Josh Jacobs out of him because he had 19 points, so I'm okay with that.
On the other side, hey, is this Lions team for real?
uh, you know what? I think Dan Campbell's really got these guys juiced, man. And he's a former player, right? So he's somebody that they can trust and say that when I want to put you in the right positions to win, I'm going to do that, and they are following that. So Detroit is, to me, a for real team, a competitive team. Goff putting up 19 of 28 attempts, 210 and 1 touchdown, 1 pick. But I mean, he's still game managing at a high level, and they're riding the backs of the running backs like they like to do. Because David Montgomery ate, and he ate well. 32 attempts, 121 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And he also had 2 receptions for 20 yards to go along with it. So he's being using the as a receiving game as well. I mean, fire up your and that's not even talking to receivers. I mean, Amon-Ra's a beast. Josh Reynolds usable. They're getting Jameson Williams back. Or Williamson back. So like, no, Williams, yeah. So anyway, they're gonna be. They got options. They got weapons. They got stuff to use and do, and it's a different Detroit team that we've seen in the past. So yes, long-winded way of saying yes. And
I think this Detroit Lions team wins the NFC North, man. I think they win the NFC North.
I don't see anyone getting in their way, so I truly don't. This is their time to run with it. So this is wild. This is wild. Oh man, I'm just watching Patrick Mahomes just do a touchdown a little bit ago, so I'm holding my breath that I can nudge out a win here.
It's gonna be tough, man.
Yeah, I'm up 22 points right now, but it's only the first quarter, and he's already got 12. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's gonna be tough, but they're up 17-0, man. They're up 17-0. They might start trying to sit on this ball, but
exactly. I'm hoping by the end of the half that they just kind of, and I'm hoping Breece Hall becomes a non-factor. So I need Breece Hall to become a non-factor, and then I'm okay. Then I'm comfortable if Breece Hall becomes a non-factor because now they have to throw. They're down 17-0. Like it's going downhill quick. I'm hoping they just resort to the pass game and forget about the run. So,
yeah, this is a tough one. Well, we can tell you one thing: Patrick Mahomes is having a good night. Isaiah Pacheco's having a good night, and so is Travis Kelce. So we'll come back and talk more about this on the Tuesday show. But for now, that's it, guys. Thank you for rocking out with us.
Yes,
Legendary Sports Podcast. I'm Antoine Beeks.
I'm Jared Michelson. We'll catch you on the next one.
Peace.